between Colorado and Kansas State at the half. It's 7-0 in favor of the Buffaloes. With Dave Lapham, I'm Dave Armstrong. An interesting first half for Kansas State. The Wildcats moved the ball effectively on offense.
They sure did, Dave, particularly between the 20s. I mean, they were very effective, but stalled when they got in the red zone around the 20-yard line in. Colorado then bowled their backs and became a lot tougher defensively.
Eric Gallen was a big guy offensively for Kansas State early on, as he really ran well when Colorado came on the blitz.
Right, and this is nothing fancy here. All they're doing is it's a straight dive to Gallen, and then his abilities just take over. He breaks it back to the outside and tries to outrun some people, and if Hamilton doesn't make a play and drag him down from behind, that could have been big touchdown all the way.
Then you watch Watson as he goes to Curtis Madden, and a big first down here for Kansas State.
And watch the forearm shot that he gives to Hamilton. I mean, that's a right forearm shiver that'll rattle your teeth a little bit, and he showed some good power there.
Then here's the touchdown, the only touchdown of the first half, Lamont Warren from 7.
And what he does is he makes a great read. He's got tremendous field vision, and he just cuts it back, and he takes it to the corner of the end zone ahead of Price. Now, here's a case where Watson does not see Biekert whatsoever in his zone. As he's dropping into his zone, Watson's going for the slant pattern. All of a sudden, there's the linebacker to make the interception.
Let's look statistically at how things are in this first half. And if you only looked at this, you would think Kansas State had the lead.
Other than as we get down second to the bottom, turnovers. That's the story of the game so far. Colorado's got the one giveaway. Kansas State's got 3, and one of them led to the touchdown for Colorado, giving the football up at their own 13-yard line.
Take us into both locker rooms. Who's happy, who's not?
Well, that's interesting. I mean, I think both coaches are probably happy. Coach McCartney's happy that he's got the lead, but I think he's chastising his players a little bit. He said, okay, we talked all week. Let's not underestimate this Kansas State team, but I think you guys maybe did a little bit physically. You're going to have to go out and saw wood in the second half, the entire half. I think Coach Snyder, on the other hand, is saying, don't give the football up anymore. We're in this football game.
Well, Colorado didn't believe before. They're believers now as they lead Kansas State, but by only 7 at the half.
This Weekend NASCAR, live Thursday night on Prime Network.
The way to not win in tennis is to think too much about your opponent. Because in tennis, you don't just play the opponent. You've got to play the ball. It's how you play the ball that determines whether your shot is in or out, whether the point is won or lost. Play the ball better than your opponent, and you'll play winning tennis. Now, you can play the ball and win with this double offer from Tennis Magazine. You'll receive a free half-hour video by Tennis Magazine instruction editor Vic Braden, plus a full year, 12 issues of Tennis Magazine. Call this number now and change the way you play tennis. What a combination. The How to Play Winning Tennis with Vic Braden video, plus the magazine that brings more instruction to more tennis players than any other. Call 800-572-2600 for a full year of Tennis Magazine plus the free video. Just $13.77. Call 800-572-2600 now.
The nation's top team, the week's mightiest matchup, game plans and strategy. It's all right here. Prime Network presents today's Top 20. Every week on Prime Network. Available on most Prime affiliates.
Welcome back to KSU Stadium. Colorado leading Kansas State. We get set to start the second half. Colorado leading 7-0. Let's go down on the field to Brian Nooner. What's the mood down there on KSU Stadium?
Well, I'll tell you what, on the Kansas State side, they're very happy. Colorado is all business. Those guys can't be pleased at all. And just before the half ended, Bill McCartney was talking with one of the officials. He's not happy. He feels that his defensive line is being held by the Kansas State offensive line. And if you remember, ironically, it was a Colorado holding penalty that kept the Buffaloes out of field goal range right before the half.
Thanks, Brian. Second half about to start. Bill McCartney is always looking for that edge. Not happy. He's got to you know, he's got to be upset with his team's offense only getting 7 points, and that was really a gift as Colorado got the ball on the 13-yard line after that turnover.
Well, as Brian overheard, coaches at all sports work the officials. I mean, basketball coaches do it all the time from the bench, and football coaches, it's no exception. You have to do it in a tactical manner, though, where you don't upset the officials, and it backfires on you. But I think Coach Mack is probably as diplomatic as anybody, yet still gets his point across.
That's William Price. He and Andre Coleman are back deep for Kansas State, and that's Mitch Berger. Berger will kick off for Colorado. And the third quarter about to start.
It'll be interesting to see if we see an early holding call against Kansas State and to see if Coach Mack was heard by the officials.
Ball comes to Coleman at the goal line. Tripped up at the 17, falls forward to the 18. And Colorado comes on defense. Greg Lindsey, the first one to get downfield and stop Andre Coleman. Paul Watson in his first half was 11 of 21. That's the good news. The bad news there, that far right number, those 2 interceptions.
Right.
And also rushed the ball 6 times for 20 yards, had 1 fumble. Eric Gallen back in the backfield for Kansas State. And also out there offensively for the Wildcats is Michael Smith, who was a bit shaken up in the first half. So Michael is okay at the halftime festivities come to a close and the third quarter begins. Gallen on the draw. Won't get much. A couple of yards on first down. Marcellus Elder was the first one to hit him from Colorado.
Now that time Colorado made a good adjustment. Instead of just boring it upfield, flying upfield, pass rushing out of control, they were in a more controlled rush, and they played off their blocks very effectively to stop that draw play.
Kansas State coming off a game against Nebraska in which they scored 31 points. That's the most points they've ever scored against the Cornhuskers, and that's what Gallen did in that first half. The leading rusher in this game, and the third leading rusher in the Big 8 Conference this year.
Over 80 yards a game he's run for.
Yeah, he started off big against Indiana State with 184 yards on the ground. Watson gets rid of it, almost picked off after it went through Gallen's hands. And then almost picked off. Renfro was the guy hanging on to Watson in the backfield. And then it was Ronnie Bradford who had it go through his hands.
Good effort by Watson here not to be sacked. I mean, he's got a 275-pounder in the form of Renfro draped all over his legs. Renfro can't bring him down. Good arm strength shown by Watson. Throws the ball high. Boy, that's one that's going to be nightmare city for Ronnie Bradford. He saw golden goalpost, but he just didn't catch the football.
3rd and 8. Here comes Brown on the blitz. Now Watson wants to run, looking for a block. Close to the 30. That's not a fumble. That ball came loose as he dove forward, and it's going to be right close to that first down marker at the 29-yard line. Remember, they had the initial possession at the 19.
It all depends on the spot, Dave. You're right. It's where they put that ball down. And once again, this isn't a called quarterback draw. He's got nowhere to go with the ball. He finds a seam, and he says, I'm taking it. And he's trying to direct some of his blockers, reaching out for the last possible yardage he could as Beekert made the hit on him. And they got the first down.
Yeah, that ground can't cause the fumble, and the first down completed by Watson. Watson saw a hole, a seam in that Colorado defense, and took advantage of it. And the give to Gallen. Sidesteps at the line, and a nice move to the left as he picks up about 6 yards on first down before Beekert could stop him.
There was a good block executed there by Toby Lawrence on Joel Steed. Watch number 75 working on 93 in the white. Stays with him and takes him down to the ground, giving Gallen an opportunity to cut back. I mean, basically, Joel Steed had him out positioned, but Lawrence stayed with the block, finished the block, got Steed in the ground, and let's face it, it's tough to tackle anybody when you're on the turf. You can't reach up, and if a back goes down with a finger tackle or an arm tackle, he's no good back.
Gallen goes out on 2nd and 4. The pitch to Curtis Madden. Madden showing some strong running, and a late hit in there. No flags come in. Up to the 43-yard line. Another first down. They'll move the chains again.
Play gets started pretty well. Watch number 75 pull again. Boom, he makes the cut block already on the turf. is number 97, Elder, which got the corner well enough to execute the first down. The offensive line up front for Kansas State doing a fine job of executing their blocking techniques.
On the I formation now for Kansas State. You see what Kansas State has done. 16 first downs already today, but no score yet for the Wildcats. Billy Sant, a senior, a seldom used player, in there spelling Eric Gallen. There's also another injury for Kansas State's Kid Rawlings, who normally backs up Gallen. So that backfield for Kansas State feeling the effects of playing Nebraska and Colorado back-to-back weeks.
Renfro involved in that defensive play, and he has played a fine football game. He's pressured the quarterback with regularity. He's played the run and the pass equally effectively. He's done a great job for Colorado.
Samp, number 6, out of Euless, Texas, lone back now for Kansas State. On 2nd and 9. Watson given time, and now here comes the pressure from Brown, and Watson unloads it. It might be a hold call against Kansas State.
He must have called it against Orr as he was working hard to protect Watson. Peeled back from behind to try to help out. Good pressure once again by Colorado. They ran a little line stunt up front. They twisted the defensive tackles. They crisscrossed in their pass, trying to confuse the Kansas State offensive line. They got decent pressure on Watson.
Now the hold call against Kansas State could back them up if Colorado chooses to accept it, and I'm sure they will.
Thomas trying to he's getting the approval from Coach Mack. Where do you want to go? Do you want to go 3rd and 10 or take the penalty and make it 2nd and 20? Or 2nd and 19. They took the penalty, 2nd and 19.
Holding, 10 yards on the offense. Repeat, 2nd down.
2nd and a quarter mile now for Kansas State.
Yeah, because the penalty is walked off from the infraction point, which was about 10 yards in the backfield with Watson as Orr peeled back to try to help out. So this is a country mile. You got to take that one.
That's a 22-yard penalty against Kansas State, and it's 2nd and 31, all the way back to the 23-yard line. On the draw play, here comes Sam. Trying to break outside. He does. And carries it up to the 32-yard line. And a flag comes in.
There should be another face mask. I'll tell you, every time we've seen a lot of defensive backs, particularly tackling high, and you're vulnerable to when you grab up around the shoulders, you're vulnerable to grabbing that equipment.
Inadvertent face mask, 5 yards.
The best way to solve that is to tackle him at the waist and the legs where they bend. Let's watch New Year operate here. He knows it's a draw, so he can go downfield. And he makes a little block on Beekert. Beekert now pursuing, trying to run to the sideline. Here's the grab of the face mask right there. Flagrant, and it was a no-doubter there. Hayward grabbed on and rode him to the ground like a Bronco bull.
They'll replay 2nd down again. That's the big advantage for Kansas State on that play. They tack on the 5 yards, give them 2nd down again, and now it's 2nd and 15.
It's like a ping pong match with these mistakes. Back and forth they go.
2 out wide to the right, 1 wide to the left for Kansas State on 2nd and a long 15.
You know, it was interesting, though, right away. Kansas State did get called for holding in the offensive line.
Play clock was down to 2, and then they whistled it dead. Now, the play clock was at 2 when the ball was snapped, because I was watching it. And then they whistled it dead, and they're going to call a delay of game.
False start on the offense, 5 yards.
It was a false start instead.
Probably one of the offensive linemen realized they were getting close to that play clock expiring, too, so he got a little bit antsy, and I think it was Lawrence once again working from that left guard position who moves a little bit quickly. I don't know.
I didn't see much.
No, it must have been out a little further at the left tackle position, because I didn't think he moved to very early either.
So the teeter-totter swings the other way, and it's 2nd and 21.
Really?
Watson's going to be nailed.
Chad Brown gets his 6.5 sack of the season. Now Watson did a good job just holding on to that football. watch number 34 in the white jersey at the top of your screen, watching back to pass, sets himself. Here comes 34 from the blind side. He did a good job of just holding on to that football, because unless he has eyes in the back of his head, he can't see him coming. You probably heard those feet thundering on the turf, though.
And look at all the sacks by Colorado. What do you do if you're Kansas State to try to slow these guys down?
Well, the screens that they've run and the draws that they've run that have been fairly successful, they're going to have to mix those in a little bit more, but not with this down and distance scenario. You're just pinning their ears back.
3rd and 29 here. And they are going to run a little screen, and it's incomplete to Sam. Chad Brown again was putting a lot of pressure on in there.
Well, Chad Brown not only has 6.5 sacks on the season, he has 8 quarterback pressures coming into this game, and his cohort, Wolfbork, has 10 quarterback pressures. So those two outside pass rushers have been very effective for Colorado this season.
And back deep to get it for Colorado, Chris Hudson, waiting the punt of Sean Snyder. Off the side of Snyder's foot. Hudson has it at his own 43. And then is hit down at the 41. At the 38, excuse me, not the 43 is where he first got it. So a return of about 5 yards, and Darian Hagan comes back out. His first half number, 6 of 15 for 62 yards, and then on the ground for Hagan, 4 rushes for 15 yards as Kansas State really keyed in on number 3 in that first half.
Did they ever? He came into the game completing 58.5% of his passes, well under 50% in the first half.
Colorado's tough to come from behind on, aren't they, with that halftime stat? Hagan wants to run on first down, and he does. Hagan goes out of bounds inside Kansas State territory at the 38-yard line.
Well, this was a good little move. Watch how he reverses out, and he just freezes the Kansas State defense just a little bit. And all those purple jerseys, they're arriving a little bit too late. Darian Hagan, a little bit too much foot speed, finds the seam and outruns everybody until Roger Green uses the sideline as the 12th defender and forces him out of bounds.
Hagan now with 33 yards on the ground. He upped that total in a hurry with that one run. And now Hagan wants to improve his passing. He's going for it all to Westbrook in the end zone, incomplete.
Boy, the official got nailed in the end zone. He got run over down there by J.D. Mendez in the middle of the end zone there, talking it over now. Good collision. But here he's going to Westbrook, Darian Hagan, a little play-action fake, trying to freeze the linebackers a little bit, and he just airs it out. And that's the thing about Hagan. He's not throwing these little 10-yard shots that you think out of an option quarterback. He's getting the ball 30, 40, 50 yards downfield, just overthrows Westbrook, his big play man.
Good coverage by Roderick Green for Kansas State. 2nd and 10. Hagan again, pulled down from behind. Chris Patterson, a good defensive play for the Wildcats, and it's 3rd and long.
Just a case, once again, a lot of attention being paid to number 3. A high compliment. You know, Kansas State, last time we saw them play Kansas State, they said, Tony Sands, you're not going to beat us. Today they're trying to say defensively, Darian Hagan, some of your teammates are going to have to pick up the slack. It's not going to be you.
3rd and 9. Here comes the blitz. Hagan reads it. Gets it to Westbrook. Westbrook covered by Price. Stopped at the 15. They'll mark it at the 16-yard line.
Reception number 81, Westbrook.
Well, once again, you see C.J. Masters trying to yank at the ball at the end, but Hagan buys some time, evades the blitz. Now you got man-to-man coverage, and he just works right in front of Price, does Westbrook. Now watch this horse, this bull. I mean, he's not going to go down. Masters comes in, now he's going to start to rip at the ball like he did last week successfully against Nebraska, but Westbrook had no part of it.
Big play on 3rd down for Colorado, and Westbrook may be the next Mike Pritchard. Hagan knocked out of bounds. Maybe 1. That's about it. At the 15-yard line, Hagan goes out. Evan Simpson moving that 315-pound frame side to side.
Well, a little lateral quickness by the big fella. Look at him shuffle these feet. I mean, this guy's like a dancing bear. Look at him. He's up on his toes. He's running Hagan down from behind, getting involved in the thing. And he said, hey, if I'm going to run this far to get the quarterback, I'm going to get a hit on you, buddy. That's good quickness. 5'11", 315, I'll tell you.
That's impressive. Gain of 1, 2nd and 9. Warren trying to pick a hole on the right side and then stood up at the 11. Mendez was right there to miss.
Well, Jamie Mendez is a guy that's played every position in the secondary. Strong safety, free safety, both corners, nickelback in his freshman year when he was Defensive Newcomer of the Year. Now they have him at free safety, which is a great place to put him because he knows everybody's responsibility, and he makes all the calls in the secondary out of that free safety spot. Big down here. Third.
Kansas State's defense asking the crowd for help with a noise. 3rd and 5. Hagan still has it. He won't get the first down. Chris Patterson stopped him at the 7. It's going to be about 1.5 yards shy of that first down marker.
Now decision time for Coach Mack. Do you put the points on the board, or do you try to open it up here with a touchdown? They're going to go for it.
Big play here. 4th and 1. Coach Mack's rolling the dice in Manhattan. And now movement by Colorado.
Yes, they did. That was a ploy, Dave, where they brought Westbrook in motion, trying to get Kansas State to jump, and they almost did, but they did not collision anybody. They did not make contact in the neutral zone, and then ultimately Colorado
Dead ball. Procedure on the offense.
Pretty good poise by Kansas State not to jump when Westbrook came in motion.
Do you think Colorado was really going for it, or were they just trying to draw Kansas State offside?
No, they were going for it, or else the offensive lineman wouldn't have moved. I mean, they wouldn't have jumped on any snap count unless they were going for a design play.
So Harper on to kick a field goal. This one lined up at the 19, a 29-yard attempt for Harper, who has 4 of 7 this year. It is good. So Harper converts on the 3, but Kansas State's defense holds down there on that 4th and 1, and the penalty pays off.
This Week in NASCAR, available on most Prime Network affiliates.
Slap on your chaps, horns, and raiders.
November's the month to remember on Prime Network. College football, we've got it on Prime with live coverage from the Southwest Conference, Pac-10 and SEC, plus same-day action from the Big 8. Fight fans, mark your calendars. Boxing's best bouts from around the country are here. And all month long, keep up with your favorite pro teams on Around the NFL. And NBA action. It's a November sports feast on Prime Network.
The animals in the forest. If they could talk, what would they say? They might say, be careful with fire in the forest. Just like Smokey says, only you can prevent forest fires.
Back to the campus of Kansas State University. Colorado now leading 10-0 early on in the 3rd quarter, and that crowd really got loud for Kansas State's defense on that last dance. Brian Nooner, how loud was it down there?
Getting very loud, but despite the close game on the whole, this Kansas State crowd is surprisingly quiet. Now, one of the reasons for that is probably because the officials told the Kansas State band to quit playing when Colorado had the ball because Darian Hagan couldn't hear.
And that is a rule. According to the NCAA, the bands cannot play while the action is ongoing. Mitch Berger to kick off, and waiting for it back there, Andre Coleman and William Price. Little pooch kick that bounces And if it bounces out of bounds, Kansas State will again get it at the 35. That's the second time today, and you can see the disgust on Mitch Berger. The second time today, he kicks it out of bounds. Scoring drive for Colorado, 8 plays, 46 yards. Harper with a 29-yard field goal. It took just under 3 minutes, and Colorado stopped shy of the end zone. And that 4th and 1, the offside penalty or the illegal procedure penalty on Colorado that really stopped that drive.
It did. They self-destructed on that play, and you know, it's Kansas State's defense rises to the occasion once again, Dave. Colorado averaging over 35 points a game, 11th best in the nation, putting points up on the board. So far, they only have 10 against this Kansas State defense.
Watson rolling out, trying to buy time. Brown again shadowing him. And then he is hit out of bounds by Leonard Renfro at the 29-yard line. A loss of 6 on first down.
And that's another sack. That's treated as another quarterback sack because Watson was trying to throw the football. And I believe that's either the 7th or 8th today. There were 8 last week against Nebraska. They're going to have to do a little bit better job of firming the pocket up for Watson.
Does Kansas State maybe need to shorten their routes a little bit?
Yeah, they're getting beaten pretty early. The guy that's putting all the initial pressure, Renfro, is really getting a good burst off the ball. I mean, it's just a physical scenario now.
A pitch out to Gallen. Hurdling his own guys at the 25. Wolffork and Hamilton keep him down at the 27-yard line. A couple of more yards backwards go the Wildcats.
It seems like the Colorado coaching staff really had a discussion with the defensive side of the football at halftime about being physical. I don't think they felt that they were physical enough. As we documented, Kansas State very effective between the 20s. And they said, hey, that's enough of that. They have 205 yards here at the half. Let's play defense like we did last week against Oklahoma. Get after it a little bit.
That's something. You shut out your opponent for the half, and then the coaches get on you. 3 wide to the right. Watson straight back. Here comes Renfro again. Steed also giving chase, and Watson running for his life to the Kansas State sideline. Chad Brown forcing him out.
You know, they're changing things up in their pass rush days. Sometimes they're just rushing straight upfield in their lanes. Watch the twisting and stunting going on inside here. We've got defensive linemen looping and twisting around each other, and the inside of the pocket collapses on Watson. He's got nowhere to go with the football.
So Sean Snyder on to punt again. And back deep to get it is Chris Hudson. A low snap. Snyder handles it and booms it. Whoa. Did he ever? Jeez. Hudson bobbles it at the 10. On his feet to the 23. What a boomer kick by Sean Snyder. Boy, he really got all of that one. Snyder will go over and get the congratulations on the sidelines. Kansas State's defense comes back out. Colorado leads 10-0.
Slap on your chaps, Horns and Raiders.
It's hard to believe what life would be like without pencils, telephones, computers, and even paper clips. And yet these everyday products were created by people much like you. If you have an idea, invention, or new product you'd like to submit to industry, Invention Submission Corporation has a free inventor's kit to help you get started. The kit contains a form for recording and dating your invention, an information brochure, and other materials of interest to inventors. Invention Submission Corporation is one of America's largest invention service companies. We can show you how your invention can be packaged and submitted to industry. So call ISC now for your free inventor's kit.
For your free inventor's kit, call toll-free 1-800-525-1000. That's 1-800-525-1000.
Hear the Big Eight's biggest news, preview the Big Eight's biggest games, and review the Big Eight's biggest plays on the Big Eight Gridiron Report every week on Prime Network. Available on most Prime affiliates.
Welcome back to Manhattan. That's Sean Snyder, the coach's son, Bill Snyder, who told us yesterday the kicking game was so important in this contest. So his son said, all right, Dad, no problem. I'll just boom this one 64 yards.
Look at the short hop. He made a nice play fielding the ball. First of all, looked like a shortstop, and then drills the thing 64 yards way over the head. Boy, big punt, big leg.
Hudson got it back to the 24-yard line. Hagan rolling out to the right. Being chased by a Quincy Griffith, and C.J. Masters couldn't catch up with it.
Pass intended for number 85, Embry, incomplete.
This half, Colorado is turning it on a little bit. Kansas State's going backwards.
Well, that Colorado defensive intensity is really heightened, and Dave, you make mention of the fact the coaches, well, you shut a team out and the coaches are still dissatisfied. I think they realize Kansas State stopped themselves, and Colorado didn't really stop them as well as they could have.
Really Wildcat trying to get this crowd to go for a ride right now. Hagan looking for time, finds Westbrook. William Price. Westbrook spinning ahead to the 38-yard line.
Boy, Sean Dabney was in on Hagan point blank, and Hagan makes an athletic play just getting rid of the football. We got an injured Kansas State player working his way off the field. Well, let's take a look at this right now. Watch this. Dabney's got him wrapped up. He delivers the ball on time with Westbrook. Just a great... Everybody was pressuring the quarterback. Westbrook made about 3 or 4 moves. He does have the type of activity that Pritchard does. Well, look at this. A clear-cut shot at him. Hagan throwing the ball as he's jumping backwards, and he delivers it accurately.
Boy, Dabney really put the stick on Hagan after he released it. The injured player is Brent Venables. Lamont Warren, a couple of yards to the 40. That's it. And a flag comes in late. Perhaps another face mask.
I'll tell you what, they're going to have to start hitting people, put the head across the bow. By that I mean put...
Inadvertent face mask, 5 yards, on the end of the run, repeat, first down.
How many is that today, eh?
Oh, it's got to be a half a dozen, easily. As Boone comes in to finish the playoff, he's the one, Brooks Barta is the one that had his hand up around the face mask, and that's you got to get your hands down. I mean, don't be grabbing up around the shoulder pads in the head area because you're vulnerable to that exact thing. Hit them, put your helmet across the football. That way you cause fumbles. You might hit the ball with your helmet, and you make a surer tackle.
So that 2-yard gain is improved to a 7-yard gain. And it's first down all over again. Almost picked off. Elijah Alexander went out into coverage and almost had that one picked off. He had nothing in front of him except green KSU Stadium.
Boy, he jumps out in front of Johnson, the intended receiver, and it looked like he was the primary receiver. That hit him in a bad place, right in the muckers. But as you can see, a defensive lineman's got gloves on. He's got pads on his hands. It's not an easy catch for him. He doesn't really have a good feel for the ball with all that apparatus on his hands. If he was barehanded, he might have a better shot at catching that football.
Alexander was staring down Wagner Field looking at that end zone. Second and short. Hagan on the roll. Hagan dances out of trouble. Gets across midfield to the Kansas State 42. Oh, he's got some moves.
He does. It was amazing. He just pulled away from Tony Williams. I mean, he made a cut on a dime like a Volkswagen. And watch number 74 in the purple jersey. Looks more like an 18-wheeler trying to make the same cut. He's chasing him down from behind. Right there is where he just runs away from Tony Williams, and he just turns it on with about 3 or 4 moves. I'll tell you, he made 8 moves in about a 10-yard area that were extraordinary.
McCartney said he's back in the Heisman race. I'm not sure why he was ever out of it. Hill, the fullback, on first down, picks up about 5 or 6, and that line of Colorado is starting to get some holes for the Buffaloes.
Starting to take the game, control the game up front on both sides of the football. You're right, David. I get the only thing I can think of with respect to your comment about Darian Hagan is they were unsure about his possibility of playing this year after that ruptured tendon in his knee down there in the Orange Bowl. But boy, he's back 100%. He's putting numbers up.
Second and 5. Warren, he's got a hole on the right side, and Warren picks up about another 8 or 9 yards, another first down to the 27-yard line.
Let's take a look at number 44 in the purple jersey, Brooks Barta. He gets trapped, and the offensive lineman just gets enough of Brooks Barta to get Warren started, and then right there, making people miss. I mean, that's something that's instinctive. You can work on a little bit, help coach it, but boy, that's something you're born with. And Brooks just got Roger Ivy just got enough of Brooks Barta to get him started.
1st and 10, Colorado at the 27 of Kansas State. Warren again. Warren still on his feet. 9 yards on 1st down. Brooks Barta finally brought him down, but all of a sudden Colorado is getting big yardage on the ground.
And one of the keys that Coach Snyder had at the top of the broadcast, Dave, was being competitive on the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball and being able to take this game into the 4th quarter. Well, there's still 3.5 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter, and Colorado is starting to take some physical dominance on both sides of the line of scrimmage up front.
Yeah, Colorado really getting their wake-up call in the locker room at halftime, and Warren nearing 100 yards now. 2nd and only 1. Warren again. That's a 1st down. Williams wraps him up at the 15.
Number 12, Warren. On the stop.
Once again, that didn't look real pretty, Dave, but the surge was there to the point where Warren didn't have to make his first cut until he was 2 yards upfield. Watch the push of the offensive line. Look at Leuenberg and Ivy double team, and Leuenberg come off to the next level. Warren doesn't make his cut till he's already gained the 1st down when he makes his first cut. So Colorado's offensive line reestablished the line of scrimmage 3 yards downfield.
Clock under 3 minutes in the 3rd quarter. Warren stopped by Williams after little gain. Maybe a yard, and Williams comes out.
It looks like he got the wind knocked out of him a little bit as he works his way to the sideline and takes a knee at the bench. This is where Kansas State, though, is so improved as Warren looks things over. I mean, they're running defensive linemen in and out. Here we get a look at Tony Williams on the sideline. He's obscured a little bit by his teammates, but he's down on a knee there trying to get some wind back.
A junior, Prop 48, didn't get to play his freshman year, dyslexic, and they finally figured that out, and it's a much better student. And boy, a big play for the guy that replaced Williams, at Quincy Griffith.
Great penetration, and that's the difference in this football team is the depth. I mean, Kansas State has done a good job of rotating their defensive linemen in and out by series to keep them fresh for this point of the football game, end of the 3rd and beginning of the 4th quarter. And boy, he got great penetration that time, and Patterson got involved also. But Darian Hagan, once again, they're not going to put one man on him. Somebody takes his inside half, somebody takes his outside half.
Big 3rd down play here for both teams. 3rd and 15, the ball back at the 20. That's what Colorado has done on 3rd down today. And here comes the blitz. He'll only get to the 16-yard line. Well shy of the 1st down, and the field goal unit will come out again for the Buffaloes.
And once again, Kansas State gets salty inside the red zone, inside that scoring zone, the 20-yard line, and limiting Colorado what it'll apparently be here, a field goal attempt. Teams aren't punching that ball in the end zone today at all.
They're going to mark it at the 23, a 33-yard attempt from right in the center of the field. Kansas State will have it at the 27. Roderick Green got his hand up and blocked that one away.
Let's take a look at it as the ball's spotted right up the middle. Boy, it's just deflated. It bounces back to the kicker before he realizes what's happening. That was a total rejection. Oh, he's up the middle. Roger Green is the leaper over the middle, right up the middle. He jumps up and knocks that thing down with one hand like a volleyball player.
But Kansas State still just trails 10-0. The pitch out to Gallen, and he's not getting much there. Kansas State a minus 21 yards in this half. We're going to step aside with 40 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter.
Everybody knows that milks for baby.
Milk for bright baby smiles. Milk for soft baby skin. Milk for strong baby bones.
And baby milks for you.
If you're hounded by a disobedient dog, now you can control your pet with Pet Trainer, the electronic pet training tool that works like magic. Just give the desired command and press the button. Pet Trainer emits an ultrasonic sound that you can't hear, but that commands your dog's attention. Harmless but effective, your dog will snap to attention and listen to your command the very first time you use it. Pet Trainer works great for cats, too. Don't let a nightmare like this happen. Pet Trainer trains pets for their own safety. And use Pet Trainer for your own safety as well.
The use of ultrasonic sound is humane and extremely effective.
Imagine a playful pet you can be proud of. Order Pet Trainer, the safe, effective way to train your pet. Only $29.95.
Sorry, no CODs. Credit card users call toll-free 1-800-542-0700 or send just $29.95 plus $4.50 shipping and handling to Pet Trainer Box 500-X, Verona, New Jersey 07044. Credit card users call now 1-800-542-0700.
2nd and 9 for the Wildcats. Clock winding down, ending the third quarter, under 20 seconds to go. Watson rolling out to his right, again feeling some pressure. And again, no, he doesn't go down. Watson stays on his feet and goes out of bounds at the 32-yard line.
He ran right under the arms of Brian Dyatt. I mean, just ran right underneath his arms to escape that. I thought he was Sac City for sure.
Watson starting to hobble just a little bit. Let's watch again as Kansas State blocks this field goal attempt.
Great leap by Green, and the key to that was the defensive lineman got penetration, Dave, allowing Roger Green to get as close as he could to the line of scrimmage before going airborne. Just like on the goal line stand, your defensive lineman get the penetration. The linebackers come over the top to neutralize running backs. That time the defensive lineman get penetration, allowing Roger Green to get good penetration before he jumped vertically.
This should be the last play of the third quarter. All the receivers out wide to the left. Watson looks like he might want to run for it. Now he's going to toss it up. Oh, incomplete.
It was Benton, just dropped it.
Gerald Benton had it. I'm not sure if he was inbounds anyway. The end of the third quarter. This crowd a little subdued here at KSU Stadium as the third quarter comes to a close. Colorado could only manage a field goal, so at the end of 3, it's the Colorado Buffaloes leading the Kansas State Wildcats 10-0.
There's a showdown coming in the Southwest Conference. When the smoke clears, a posse will be on the hunt for the tapes of SWC Cotton.
There's a thundering herd, a hammer in the plains, but a Raiders waiting to corral those cows and ride them into the sunset. Slap on your chaps, Horns and Raiders. Next weekend on most Prime affiliates.
1957, the year Chevrolet introduced one of the most popular cars of all time, the 57 Chevy. Now, anyone who admires this great American classic won't want to be without the 1957 Chevrolet telephone, the perfect addition to any car lover's home or office. The 57 Chevy phone is a stunning replica of the original and a fully working telephone. It includes an option for tone or pulse, a last number redial, a non-slip tire base, it's hearing aid compatible, and comes with a ringer on-off switch. Plus, the horn honks and the headlights flash when someone calls. The 57 Chevy phone is FCC approved and guaranteed for 1 full year. The 57 Chevy phone is a perfect gift for anyone who appreciates the dazzling style of this legendary car, or for anyone who wants to own a real car phone. Order one now.
The classic 57 Chevy phone is only $39.95. To order, call 1-800-525-1000. This is an authentic replica phone, authorized and licensed by the Chevrolet Division of General Motors. Order yours now in red, baby blue, or classic black. Call 1-800-525-1000. Sorry, no CODs.
November's the month to remember on Prime Network. College football, we've got it on Prime with live coverage from the Southwest Conference, Pac-10 and SEC, plus same-day action from the Big 8. Fight fans, mark your calendars. Boxing's best bouts from around the country are here. And all month long, keep up with your favorite pro teams on Around the NFL. And NBA action. It's a November sports feast on Prime Network.
Welcome back to Kansas State University in the Little Apple, Manhattan. Today, a gorgeous day. Light overcast skies. Sun dancing now over this crowd at KSU Stadium. Colorado leading Kansas State 10-0. But remember, the Wildcats came up with those 2 fourth-quarter touchdowns to come from behind to beat KU a couple of weeks ago.
Boy, that tells a story in the third quarter, doesn't it? It's awful tough to score points when you got minus 21 total yards because of sacks.
And it's 4th down now for Kansas State as Watson's getting a talking to by Bill Snyder. And right now Watson's saying, I need some time, Coach.
Right, Coach Snyder's telling about some option routes, it looks like, you know, who to look for on various reads and options. But you're right. I mean, the key to it is he has to have time to do that.
Snyder the last time, boom, that 64-yarder. We'll see what he does this time. And again, Hudson is back deep for Colorado, and Hudson will be staring right up into the sun. We were on this field yesterday, and that sun can be tough as you look up into it. Here comes the rush. Snyder goes down. There's a late flag. Flag came in late. Snyder went down. The kick goes out of bounds at the Colorado 39.
The official indicated with his hands it looked like running into the punter, and then after he indicated it, dropped his flag.
Got running into the kicker, 5 yards.
Instead of roughing the kicker, it's running into the kicker. What the official wanted to make sure was that nobody from Kansas State blocked him into the punter, and that's the difference. Let's see if we can see it. Yeah, it was a guy as he was trying to make the block up the middle. He's on the ground crawling and ran into the kicker. That's a good call. It wasn't as a result of a block. But it's not roughing either. It's the proper call to be running into and not roughing the kicker. So this 5 yards does not give them the first down.
Now McCartney's got to make a decision again. All right, our special teams, do we go after him again, or what do we do here? These are all the decisions the head coaches have to make. What do we do on coverage? What do we do on this?
Right.
What do we do on 3rd down?
And see, this 5-yard penalty, once again, is not an automatic first down. They're still short on 4th down.
So it's running into the kicker. The roughing the kicker would be an automatic first down.
Absolutely. And it'd be a 15-yard penalty as opposed to a 5. Just like a flagrant face mask as opposed to an inadvertent face mask.
Well, now, though, it's 4th and about 1.
If this were different field position, Dave, I'd look for something other than a punt, but boy, you can't roll the dice in this one. Oh, they did it!
They got a first down and more! There goes Madden! Woo! Wow!
Boy, put a hook in my mouth and reel it in. I'll tell you, I was thinking right along with Coach Mack, no way they're going to go for the fake here, and did they ever? That's a gutsy, great call and well executed. A direct snap to the personal protector, the young back, and of course that's the big fullback, and now he's in the open field and he's hammering, boy, and there goes that forearm once again. Curtis Madden said, oh my gosh, I might go. And look at Snyder execute that it was a bad snap. The punter was putting on an act like, oh, the snap's, it was on the ground, it's by me. That's a great execution by everybody.
Chris Hudson, who was back waiting the punt, the only guy back there to stop Madden. But Kansas State keeps the drive alive. Now inside Colorado territory at the 38-yard line. Will it be another fourth quarter come from behind victory for Kansas State? Wide open is Sam. He eludes a couple of tacklers. Oh, it was a football. Flags come in. Colorado says they have it. So does the official. But a flag is down. Eric Hamilton says he has it. Sam was hit hard as he made one move back to the middle.
Let's see what this penalty is, but I want to tell you that Michael Smith made an unbelievable block to let that journey continue. I'll tell you, he's an All-American for a lot of reasons, and the block that he threw is one of them.
It's a completion and then a fumble.
Right, completion and a fumble. And watch the block here that number 88 in the purple makes for Samp as he's working his way downfield. That was it back there as he cut between two people. Michael Smith put a nice screen block on, and then, of course, the ball, it's a melee at that point. The ball's free.
Greg Thomas, the guy that caused the fumble. Eric Hamilton fell on it. Another turnover for Kansas State. That's their fourth. Lamont Warren stays on his feet. Big run for the freshman. Let's see where they mark him out.
Colorado's upset on the sideline. They thought that he was roughed out of bounds, but there were no whistles blowing. And so Kansas State had to continue to play. A little delay to Warren, and now he's starting to make his presence felt physically. Nice spin move away from Mendez. His arm tackle by Price won't take him down. Now he's starting to show his athletic ability. Right here, Kansas State's continuing to play because finally the whistle's blowing.
Big gain for Warren on first down all the way up to the 48-yard line. Hagan batted away, incomplete.
Pass intended for number 9, Johnson, incomplete.
Pass attempt from Hagan that's been batted down at the line today.
And, you know, Hagan, the problem, or I guess one of the reasons that it's being batted down is he's 5'10". He's not a 6'4", 6'5" quarterback that throws the ball over the top and can see over those big defensive linemen very easily. He tries to throw into seams of a pass rush.
2nd and 10 at the 48 of Colorado. Buffs lead 10-0 in the fourth quarter. Warren falls forward across midfield to the 48 of Kansas State.
The tackle, number 93, Harvard.
Boy, have turnovers been a factor today. Man, 4 giveaways have absolutely crushed. Every time that Kansas State generates some momentum, they shoot themselves in the foot with turnovers.
3 of the turnovers in the red zone of Colorado. The other turnover when Kansas State had it at their own 13.
Lamont Warren's now gone over 100 yards rushing on the day, Dave.
110 was his previous high. That came against the Missouri Tigers. 3rd and 10. Hagan to throw to the outlet. It's going to be a first down. And coming up quickly on the coverage was Roderick Green, but Johnson has the first down.
Roderick Green was closing on this football. It seemed to hang up in the air for quite a while. Darian Hagan, this pass it's only a 10-yard pattern, but the ball's in the air for about 30 yards. And Green just can't get there quick enough to break it up.
Charles E. Johnson. He took the E off the jersey now because Charles S. Johnson, the quarterback, decided not to come back this year. Hagan on a little mix-up decides to keep it and runs right into Tony Williams.
That was a play that Darian Hagan did before. Does this on his own, running away from the option, thinking that Kansas State is going to over-pursue it where Lamar Warren was headed, but hey, Williams had no part of it. He said, I'll just bear hug you to the ground. He looked like a big old grizzly bear hugging Darian Hagan.
I should say. 2nd and 10. This crowd's getting into it now here at KSU Stadium. Warren again. That's a gain of about 4. That should give him his best total ever in a Colorado uniform.
On the stop, number 89, Alexander.
Alexander stops him, but it's going to be 3rd and long again for the Buffs.
And this is where Kansas State wanted to get the football game into the fourth quarter, still within striking distance, and they are, but they cannot self-destruct anymore. This has been a clear-cut case of self-destruction with the giveaways. They've been very sticky between the tackles with the running game most of the day. They have to think turnover now themselves. Defensively, they have to think takeaway, tackle the football a little bit.
3rd and 7. On the option. No way! Evan Simpson with pursuit again.
The big fella. I'll tell you, the human refrigerator.
Yeah, what does that feel like if you're Hagan?
Oh, man, it feels like a mountain fell on your back. I'll tell you, and Evan Simpson is now, he's hucking and bucking from behind, and he falls over the back of Hagan, and that is a load and a half. When 315 pounds falls on your back, you feel it.
Michael Smith back to return punts. And Mitch Berger back to punt again. This is the 6th punt for Berger today. Smith will let it go. Oh, and it takes a Colorado hop. Great punt by Mitch Berger down at the 6-yard line. 11 minutes, 11 seconds to go. Kansas State scored twice against KU with 8.5 minutes to go. Can they pull that feat against Colorado? Well, you come back and we'll all find out together.
November's the month to remember on Prime Network. College football, we've got it on Prime with live coverage from the Southwest Conference, Pac-10 and SEC, plus same-day action from the Big 8. Fight fans, mark your calendars. Boxing's best bouts from around the country are here. And all month long, keep up with your favorite pro teams on Around the NFL. And NBA action. It's a November sports feast on Prime Network.
To unlock your body's potential, we proudly offer Soloflex. 32 old-fashioned iron-pumping exercises, each correct in form and balance, all on a simple machine that sits in the corner of your home. For a free brochure, call anytime.
Straightforward.
He's been the focal point of your offense for 6 or 7 years. It's devastation.
Controversial.
Week 1, how do you fire an offense coordinator after week 1?
Unpredictable.
How about Ray's shirt here?
Well, you know, to each his own.
Bill Parcells. Mike Francesa. Complete analysis and insights into each week's pro football matchups. Around the NFL.
Every week on Prime Network.
Well, right now, are the chips down or the chips up? We're not sure. Kansas State takes over on their own 7. I guess a little history lesson is due. Kansas State against Kansas was down 12-3 in the 4th quarter. They started their first drive at the 7-yard line. That's where they start this one. Eric Gallen bulls ahead for 5 to the 12. Brian Dyatt stops him for Colorado.
I guess the big difference is that Colorado's defense is only giving up 13.5 points a game. Number 1 in the Big 8, number 11 in the country in scoring defense. And so far they're pitching a shutout against Kansas State, although they've been aided immeasurably by Kansas State's charity.
4 turnovers for the Wildcats. Ball play to Gallen. He'll get it up to the 14-yard line. It's going to bring up 3rd and about 3. Biekert stopped him there.
And Biekert is he's the same type of inside linebacker that Brooks Barta is. Biekert has got 2 20-tackle games to his credit already in his career. And when you come up with 20 tackles, boy, you're very active, obviously, in a single game.
Big 3rd down play here for Kansas State if they're going to get things going in their direction. Watson given time for a moment, and then look out. Steed was the first one there. And then also coming in to make the play defensively was Leonard Renfro. And Bill McCartney loves the way his defense has been playing.